This is section 16 of the Manual for Teachers, volume 3. How should the teacher of God spend his day? And we were on paragraph 3 and 4 today. At the beginning, it is wise to think in terms of time. This is by no means the ultimate criterion, but at the onset it is probably the simplest to observe. The saving of time is an essential early emphasis, which, although it remains important throughout the learning process, becomes less and less emphasized. And we're going to go down and read footnote 114. This probably refers to saving time in the sense of not wasting it. Saving time in this sense is also found in the discussion following Miracle Principle 25 in the text, where Jesus says that he can save time for us by speeding us through the trivia of life so that we have more time to give to miracles. Back to the text. At the outset, we can safely say that time devoted to starting the day right does indeed save time. How much time should be so spent? This must depend on the teacher of God himself. He cannot claim that title until he has gone through the workbook, since we are working within the framework of our course 115. The qualification almost certainly includes having completed the text as well. The workbook, after all, says that the text is necessary as a background to make the exercises in this workbook meaningful. At this point, the course has always assumed that one is going through it in order. First the text, then the workbook. Also, this sentence seems to rest on the straightforward logic that one cannot be a teacher within the framework of the course until one has done the course, which would obviously include studying the text. The above qualification also seems to assume that one has really done the workbook, not just reached its end. We say this because this section portrays the one who has completed the workbook as now being able to do the workbook-style practice on his own, in the morning, throughout the day, in response to upsets, and at night, without the support of the workbook's chronological lessons. The qualifications for being a teacher within the framework of our course, then, would be to have completed the course up through the workbook, to now be able to continue workbook-style practice on one's own throughout the day. Sometimes you have to do it like for several years. I think I'm in year 11. After completion of the more or less structured practice periods which the workbook contains, individual need becomes the chief consideration. And now we are on paragraph 4. This course is always practical. It may be that the teacher of God is not in a situation which fosters quiet thought as he awakes. If this is so, let him but remember that he chooses to spend time with God as soon as possible, and let him do so. And then we'll go down to 116. This time with God, which is aimed at joining with God, and may conceivably take an hour, is clearly some version of the meditation practice taught in the workbook. This section is instructing us in how to practice after the workbook, and in doing so follows the order of many workbook lessons, giving us instructions first for the morning and evening meditation, then for repeating a thought throughout the day, and finally for response to temptation. And I don't know where he got, it may conceivably take an hour. 4 or 5. Okay, let's get back to the reading. Okay, duration is not the major concern. Okay, and that's what I thought. That's why I was confused about that. One can easily sit still an hour with closed eyes and accomplish nothing. Absolutely. One can as easily give God only an instant, because it's only in the instant, and in that instant join with Him completely. Perhaps the one generalization that can be made is this: as soon as possible after waking, take your quiet time, continuing a minute or two after you begin to find it difficult. You may find the difficulty will diminish and drop away. If not, that is the time to stop. And I'm going to stop there, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining with me.